Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are immersing ourselves in the fascinating and I have to say sometimes unnerving world of applied vigilance.
Mm.
We've gathered this really unique collection of source material. It's part high-level neighborhood safety guide,
Yeah.
and part manual on these really subtle psychological security tactics.
It's a compelling contrast. I mean, we're looking at two very different forms of pattern recognition here.
Right.
On one hand, you have observations designed to spot these overt physical signs of criminal preparation in a general area.
Okay, broad strokes.
Exactly. But on the other, we have this incredibly subtle, almost cinematic guide to generating fear and anxiety through choreographed observation,
Targeted at one person.
targeted at a specific individual. Yeah.
So our mission today is to synthesize all this. We're going to extract actionable knowledge from material that, like you said, ranges from watching for suspicious litter all the way to understanding specific sightline deceptions.
And the overarching theme is quite simple, really.
That's that.
True safety lies in recognizing patterns that fall outside the baseline of normal, everyday activity.
Even when those patterns are masked by the mundane.
Especially then.
Okay, let's unpack this. This is crucial information. We should probably start with the foundational knowledge, the neighborhood vigilance stuff.
Agreed.
It focuses so heavily on the operational timing of suspicious activity. And the sources are, well, they're definitive about the critical time window.
They are. 10 p.m. to 3 a.m.
And that time frame isn't arbitrary, is it?
Not at all. It's sociologically and practically determined. It's the period that balances the full cover of darkness with a time when most residents are in their deepest sleep cycles.
Right, so fewer witnesses.
Far fewer. Between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m., casual observers are gone. Police patrols might be at their minimum.
And a little noise isn't as likely to wake someone up.
Exactly. It makes it the sweet spot for activities that need low visibility and, low accountability.
And inside that window, the sources lay out 3 specific patterns of what they call repetitive nocturnal activity. This goes way beyond just loitering.
Precisely. The first one is circling bikes.
Okay, circling bikes.
But it's defined very narrowly. An individual or a group on bikes that repeatedly circles the same, very limited area.
How many times?
The source specifies 3 to 5 times. Within that 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. window, this isn't just someone getting some late-night exercise.
Oh, it's scoping, mapping vulnerabilities, or maybe waiting for a signal.
Exactly.
And the second sign?
Package movement. This describes vehicles, cars, bikes, whatever transporting packages or other items late at night.
Just the fact that they're moving goods at that hour is suspicious.
It can be, yeah. It could indicate distribution, drop-offs of illicit materials, or, moving stolen items.
And the third focuses on one spot.
Yes, on a location rather than a route. Frequent visitors. If a specific house shows this persistent, non-commercial pattern of people coming and going late at night.
Over multiple nights.
Over multiple nights, yes.
Yeah.
It suggests a kind of continuous high-traffic activity that's just not normal social calls.
Now, in that same vein, the source points to this one specific detail with vehicles that it screams coordination.
The convoy behavior.
Yes. This is where it gets really interesting in understanding how these groups operate.
The convoy is the clearest sign of an organized operation. It describes 2 bikes leaving the same spot in quick succession. But there's a specific maneuver.
What's the move?
The second bike follows the first one right after it makes a turn onto another street.
So it looks coincidental.
It's meant to, but it serves multiple purposes. The led bike might be checking for police or anyone following.
While a trailing bike keeps eyes on the target area.
Or performs a visual handoff. It's organized surveillance or protection, but it's designed to look like 2 separate casual riders.
That distinction, casual riders versus organized choreography, that's the core of all of this, isn't it?
It is.
So let's pivot from watching active movement to what's left behind. The visible residue, because that's often just as telling.
Absolutely. We're shifting now to physical evidence and lingering activity. These markers indicate prior actions and signal that a location has been actively used for illicit purposes.
Which means it's likely to be used again.
That's the logic.
And the source material is so specific about what counts as suspicious litter near a wall or a property. It's not just, a coffee cup.
No, these are indicators of very specific illegal or antisocial actions. We're talking about finding things like used syringes,
Wow.
Beer bottles, condom packets, or tobacco packets right near or against a private property.
So the residue itself signals that the area has been co-opted for vice or illegal transactions.
And that inherently lowers the security of that whole location.
And then there's the more overt hostility, property damage.
Right. The sources tell you to look for things like evidence of stone pelting, fresh scratches on boundary wall.
Or defacement with offensive materials.
These aren't just random acts of vandalism. They're explicit markers of aggression. Or maybe attempts to test the security perimeter. See who responds.
And you mentioned the prime window for crime was 10 to 3 a.m. But for this lower level stuff,
Yeah.
this lingering, the window is wider, right?
It is. It often stretches from about midnight right up until 6 a.m.
So just before sunrise.
Exactly. It suggests that preparatory or maybe passive observation can happen right as the sun is about to come up, trying to blend in with early morning joggers or commuters.
The sources also mention organized provocative behavior.
Yes, this is where gangs or individuals on bikes will intentionally try to antagonize people or pets,
For no reason.
seemingly for no reason, but they're testing reactions, they're flexing their power, or they're trying to establish a climate of fear in the neighborhood.
It's a kind of low-grade intimidation.
And it's often a precursor to more severe action.
This is a perfect bridge, actually, because while vandalism is overt, hostility can be deeply, deeply subtle. Which brings us to source 2, a document detailing tactics for generating fear in a target through highly subtle, highly structured observation. This is surveillance as a psychological weapon.
And what's so fascinating here is how the threat is meticulously masked by the most mundane activities.
It's like going for a walk or eating a snack.
Exactly. An early morning walk, grabbing a bag of chips. The source is all about making the target feel constantly watched without ever being able to prove it.
They lay out these key contextual scenarios. Let's start with the early morning walk. It involves really precise positioning.
Extremely precise. It uses two people. We'll call them person A and person B.
Okay.
Person A has to be on the target's right side, and person B must be on the target's left side.
And there's more to it than that. The spacing is key.
The spacing is the most critical detail. Person A walks 1 to 2 meters ahead of person B.
Ahead, so they're staggered.
They're staggered. And that offset isn't accidental. It's geometry meets optical deception. It's necessary for the psychological trick to work.
And that trick is the sightline deception.
Yes. If person A, the main observer, was right behind the target and looked at them,
It would be obvious. You'd feel it.
you'd feel it. You'd register it immediately. Instead, person A is ahead, looking like they're just walking forward. They then look back through the very narrow visual channel created by
The other person.
the left side of person B's face and shoulder to observe the target.
So they're looking past their partner. It's genius and terrifying.
It is masterful psychological camouflage. The target sees person B's profile and person A's face angled toward B.
So your brain just processes it as two people talking?
Two people engaged with each other. Person B is the visual mask. You see them as a single innocuous unit, and you completely miss that person A's attention is actually fixated right behind their own shoulder.
And to perfect this camouflage, they use props.
They animate normal activity. The source specifically mentions two key visual props.
What are they?
They either appear to be engrossed in a serious conversation, which makes people naturally ignore them,
Right, you don't want to interrupt.
or, and this is crucial, they are holding a snacks packet, like a bag of Lay's.
A bag of chips.
Yes. It's the visual shorthand for innocent, casual behavior. I mean, who questions two people walking and sharing a snack? The maneuver hides the intent in plain sight.
I have to challenge this a little bit, though. The source says this can go on for more than 3 years.
It does.
That requires an incredible amount of dedication. How is it feasible to maintain that level of coordination without a slip-up? I mean, the observer is doing a highly unnatural thing.
Well, the sustainability comes from rotating the observers while keeping the pattern.
So it's not the same two people for 3 years.
No, of course not. The organization behind it relies on the pattern being consistent, which slowly, methodically erodes the target's sense of security.
The target starts questioning their own reality.
Exactly. Am I being followed? Or is it just another pair of people with a snack?
The long duration is what makes it a sophisticated psychological move. It's designed to induce chronic anxiety, not just gather quick intel for one crime. If we connect all this, threats are rarely loud and obvious. They are often meticulously masked by the trivial.
That's the lesson.
When you look at the specific criteria for a neighborhood watch and then contrast it with this detailed psychological choreography, it tells you that vigilance needs both a wide angle and a microscopic focus.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for action?
Right. What do you do?
Whether you are observing circling bikes in your street or you suspect you're the target of this complex psychological observation, the sources are unanimous.
Take action immediately.
Immediately. Don't wait for it to escalate into something undeniable.
And the first non-negotiable step for both scenarios is the documentation protocol.
You have to capture the details. For the neighborhood stuff, that means immediate documentation of time, date, specific activity, and identifying features.
License plates, clothing, things like that.
Even unique features of the packages being moved.
And for the subtle psychological patterns, the documentation is maybe even more critical.
Because the evidence is so fleeting, you need to maintain a detailed log of each incident. The exact time, the location, that 1-2 meter offset we talked about.
The camouflage, was it the conversation or the Lay's packet?
Yes. And save any corresponding evidence concerning messages, photos, anything to establish that persistent pattern.
And that documentation then feeds your reporting strategy, which needs to be tiered, right, based on the threat.
It does. For suspicious, non-urgent activity in the neighborhood, the circling, the weird litter, the non-emergency police number is the correct route.
You're providing intelligence, not demanding intervention.
But for immediate threats, or if that complex, chronic psychological pattern stalking is observed, the urgency shifts dramatically.
So then you call the emergency line.
Then you use the emergency contact. The source material emphasizes this. These subtle acts can be precursors to potentially violent incidents.
Beyond reporting, Source 2 highlights some personal safety measures. This is about being proactive.
It's about destroying the pattern of predictability that the observers rely on.
So things like varying your daily routes.
Consistently. Change your schedule randomly. Rigorously secure your personal information, digitally and physically, and carry a personal alarm.
Become unpredictable.
When you become unpredictable, you significantly raise the cost and the risk for the people trying to watch you.
And finally, a really important one, informing networks.
Isolation is the observer's greatest tool.
So you have to tell people.
It is absolutely vital to inform trusted friends, family, colleagues. Give them a detailed description of the behavior, the people, the vehicles.
This turns your network into a decentralized monitoring system.
It does. It helps with documentation, and it destroys the isolation they're counting on.
So today, we've navigated two remarkably distinct forms of vigilance.
We really have. The immediate physical pattern recognition for environmental security.
And the psychological pattern recognition needed to counter these subtle, targeted observation tactics.
The sources really drive home the point that effective safety. It doesn't rely on reacting to a single major criminal event.
It relies on recognizing and responding to tiny, repeated behavioral anomalies that stack up over time.
Whether it's the 3 to 5 times a bike circles your block or that specific 1 to 2 meter offset in a walking formation, those patterns are the giveaway.
The camouflage only works if we dismiss the pattern as just randomness.
Which leaves a really important question for you to consider moving forward. How often do we ignore the subtle, repeated patterns right in front of us simply because they're masked by these everyday, innocuous contexts?
Like two people having a serious conversation.
Or just sharing a quick snack packet. Keep observing critically.